Guys ready to go when you are?
Heather, how hard is that to take coming down here and panning out the way it did?
Yeah, obviously it's been a frustrating tour. Disappointing, excuse me, that we haven't probably shown our best cricket. I think probably when we look back at this trip, I think probably those first two games we didn't start the best. We probably had opportunities to win. We competed pretty well at times. Probably could have won those first two games. And then obviously losing those two, the momentum felt really hard to stop. And I think something this Australia team does amazingly well is to really press home their advantage when they are on top and when they're playing well and when they are on top, they don't give you a huge amount and it's hard to come back from. And obviously, with the nature of the tour as well, wasn't a huge amount of time, I guess, to practice and try and stem the flow, I guess. But look, they're a very good team. They've played amazingly well. We unfortunately haven't played our best cricket here, and we've got a lot of, I guess, soul searching and a lot of things to try and get better at when we do play against them next.
What are the things you think you need to get better at?
Yeah, I think I talked about those first two games. I think the Australian team probably won the big moments, and I think that's something we need to try and do better. And when we're on top, try and really press home that advantage. That's certainly something we can do better. I think their bowlers' execution under pressure has been outstanding at times. Their spinners in particular have made it really tricky for us. Obviously out here, I thought Alana in particular bowled amazingly. Probably on a wicket we didn't expect to spin as much as it did. I think the groundsman is even quite surprised how much it did turn. But yeah, they've got some really good players that have really different players, I guess, have contributed throughout the series, and we definitely haven't been at our best, which has been quite frustrating because we know we're a better team than the scoreline suggests.
From an opposition point of view, is it daunting when you get beaten by an Australian team they've got quite a few young players coming through, so it's not like it's a team that's full of experienced players. There's a lot of youth coming through, but even at that stage of their development, they're still winning by this much. Is that daunting for you?
No, I guess not. I think obviously they've got a huge amount of depth, which is their biggest strength. They've got some really good all-rounders, which means they can play obviously a particularly deep batting lineup with the players that they have. I wouldn't say it's daunting. I think it's always been the case that they've had a really strong setup and a lot of depth. But we've also got some good young players. Unfortunately, we haven't always shown our best cricket, but we do have some really good players. I think Lauren Bell has really come into her own this tour. I think she's been outstanding. I've been really proud of how she's gone about things. I think the last couple of years she's really tried to add little bits to her game, tried to be able to move the ball both ways and tried to have the skills to use in a test match like she did. And I think she's been a real trooper for us. I think a real highlight, and she's still very young as well. So really proud of Lauren and how she's gone about things, and probably deserved a few more wickets than probably she picked up in this test match. But I think she's been a real positive as a young player for us.
You mentioned winning the big moments and delivering better under pressure. How do you go about getting better at that ahead of home series against West Indies and India coming up, and then obviously 2027 is something you've got to look at?
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer, I think. I think we've done a lot of work, probably post that World Cup in particular. We've been pretty honest and pretty open about how we want to do things and what we need to be better at. We haven't quite shown that yet. We've got a little bit of work to do. Our fielding has been poor at times. I think in particular this game, the drop chances were really sort of put a bit of, that middle session we were going okay, we were holding the game nicely, and then we kind of got quite frustrated with the drop chances and then went southwards a little bit. So, I don't think it's through lack of effort or lack of skill. We work really hard on our fielding. We work with a really high skill level as well in training. It's probably an individual thing in terms of the reason why. It's quite a hard thing to pinpoint exactly why at times we've dropped catches, but particularly in a test match in a game like this, it's really important to hold on to your chances and be ruthless with it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that, particularly in that middle session yesterday.
How challenging was this series as a captain, particularly on days like yesterday, with you created probably 15 chances, but finished the day 250 behind?
Yeah, of course, it's always a tough place to come and tour as a cricketer and particularly as a leader. And I guess when things aren't going right, it's always pretty tough. But ultimately, results, we haven't played well enough, and you're going to feel that as a leader and feel that on your shoulders, I guess. So, I'm certainly frustrated with how the team has gone. We haven't showed our best cricket. We're all obviously very frustrated with that and pretty gutted.
Is this your lowest point as England captain, would you say?
No, I don't think so. I think we've had a few, Raf. It's a bit of a roller coaster in international cricket, isn't it, and being an international captain. But no, look, I don't think so. There's always highs and lows, and that's the joy of the job. Sometimes it tests your character, tests the good times and the bad times, and you have to, I guess, take them on the chin, the bad times, to enjoy the good times.
And at Canberra, I asked you, having led England for 9 years, does a tour like this make you think about your position? And you said that's a question for the end of the tour. Here we are. Are you thinking about your own position as captain?
I'm probably going to sit on the fence again and say it's a time to probably not think about it. I think, look, things are pretty raw and have obviously happened pretty quickly, and I think the coming weeks is a time for everyone to reflect on what we could have done better, how we're going to improve as a side, and I guess that's not an emotional decision that's going to be made now. It's in the coming weeks.
On King specifically, what made her so challenging on this surface, and what was the reaction in the dugout when you saw that dunk?
It's good delivery, wasn't it? I think she's improved a hell of a lot as a cricketer, as a spinner. I think the last couple of years she's really added more revs to what she does. I think she found the pace quite well on this wicket. She probably bowled a little bit slower than she did in the white ball stuff and got a little bit out of the surface. She's challenging. She obviously drifts the ball quite a lot as well. She gets that side spin. That was a pretty good ball to Dunkley. But we need to find ways to play her a little bit better. I think finding a way to counteract what she was doing and try and find a way to score runs and try and put her off the length a little bit. But certainly she's been really challenging and has bowled particularly well.
Is it hard when you're playing Australia not to play, I guess, the aura of the team and what they've done over the years to put that aside?
No, I don't think so. I think we obviously had some success in them in the last Ashes series, winning those 2 white ball games. So I don't think it was around feeling the aura or anything like that. They're obviously a hugely successful, really good side, and you need to be certainly at your best to compete and to beat them, and I don't think we've done that this trip.
What positives will you take out of the tour?
I think it's been tough, and I think we need to use this as players. I remember a lot of tough points in my career where you've, I guess, haven't played well and you find ways to get better, and that hunger drives you. So I think we certainly need to use it as motivation to become better as individuals and as a team. But like I say, Lauren Bell, I think, has been a real positive. Sophia Dunkley in the T20, she's been out of that T20 team for a little bit, and to come in to play how she did in the first 2 T20s was really nice to see. I think Lauren in particular has been a real sort of standout tour for a really breakout tour in terms of the skill level that she has and how she's bowled, particularly in one-day cricket and Test cricket.
Claire Connors over here, due to talk to us tomorrow morning. Have you chatted to her?
Yeah, I've seen Claire. I've seen her a couple of times. She's obviously down at the Afghan game the other day. There's a few people from the ECB obviously out here supporting us, which is pretty normal for most away tours.
Has she given any indication of kind of the sort of parameters of the post-Ashes review? Is that?
It's a bit soon for that, no.
Okay.
I think you'll have to ask her tomorrow.
What would you ask her for, if you could ask her for one thing now for English women's cricket?
Oh, gosh, good question. I guess the injection of cash has been quite useful, I guess, for the ECB with the 100 teams being sold. But, I don't know. I think we're very well supported by the ECB. Obviously, the domestic setup is pretty much fully professional now, and obviously with the change to county system, I think it's going to be a really good move to push the women's game forward. And, I think I can't fault the support from the ECB. They've been brilliant. That's not a reason why we've performed how we have. Hey.
Tough look on the result, but what do the post-Ashes reflection look like for you, especially from 2 points with players getting scattered for WPL in India and the time being lost for the immediate reflection, and 2 on the younger players who are coming in who potentially played in such a conditions for the first time, the likes of Diana McDonald-Gay or Lauren Bell. What is that kind of conversation with them, especially when most of the team will be scattered for the long time?
Yeah, look, we've got a little bit of time before we next play again. It's been a pretty hectic winter, to be honest, so looking forward to a little bit of a break. yeah, I think obviously a few girls will go off to the WPL, a few girls will have a bit of a break and a holiday, and then we'll regroup at some point before the season and be really honest about what we need to do better and how we're going to get to where we need to be, particularly competing against this Australian side. And yeah, we need to find ways to put ourselves under pressure more often, I think. Like we've obviously been pretty successful, but we need to try and find a way to really almost, even when we're winning, just find ways that we can be better and try and really lay down markers in other series that we do play. But yeah, a little bit of reflection time and regrouping. Just on Rihanna, I think she's been quite a really good find for us. I think that test match she played in South Africa, she really just showed what a player she can be, I think. She's a real steady character, really solid, keeps things pretty simple and gets on with it. And yeah, obviously pretty impressed with her again, how she went about this test match, created a lot of chances. She's quicker than she looks, she's pretty skiddy and can make the ball move a little bit from quite a consistent area. She doesn't miss a lot. So yeah, she's another definite positive for in this trip.
And just last one for me, from the highest heights of South Africa, where it all looked amazing, winning the test match after all these years to this, how do you look at that and how do you then regroup the team, telling them that we are able to do what we did in South Africa, but we're just not able to replicate it again?
Yeah, I think, like I say, Australia are a very good side. They're very strong. They've got a lot of depth, and when they're on top, they really hammer home their advantage. And yeah, look, we performed really well in South Africa. We were one game, I guess, off whitewashing them exactly in this series. So yeah, for whatever reason, we haven't played our best cricket, but Australia have really put us under pressure this trip, and particularly in the T20s and the Test have played their best cricket. So yeah, we need to find ways to be better in all areas, and I think there'll be some really honest conversations and reflections individually about what that is that we can be better in, and yeah, then we'll go to work and try and make it better.
Guys, thank you.
All good. Thank you. Oh, man on Zoom. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Excuse me, those bottles, they might be in the way of the second chair. Maybe just, yeah. Thanks.
Oops.
Yeah.